Test, 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 testing, testing, testing. Test, 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 testing, 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 test, 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 testing, 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 test, test, testing, test ickles, testing, test ickles, test ickles, test ickles. Welcome everyone to episode 756 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beardcast, broadcast, gamecast, mancast, pimpcast, slaycast, nipplecast, and taintcast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps, or as the Spaniards call them, biceps. My biceps and my triceps. And they don't say it like that, but I say it like that when I'm pretending to be a Spanish person. I say biceps and triceps. Spanish people, Latin people, those of you that live everywhere in South Florida, all y'all homies, my peeps, my Swole Nation. What's going on, fam? Welcome to episode 756. We got to start off with some nips. We got to start off with some guns. We got to start with some good old fashioned flexing. I got the window open today. The sun is coming in. Wonderful. If you live in Florida, we actually have some fucking sun. So that's refreshing. It's nice to have something aside from torrential rain every fucking day. So thank you. Thank you, sun, for actually gracing us with your presence. That's why the window's open. I'm like, fuck it. I want some sun. I want some sun on my nips. I think that's why I've been a little bit under the weather mentally. Been a little under the weather because it's been far too long. I moved to Florida primarily for the sun on my nips and haven't had any nips on my any nips under the sun or sun under my nips lately. It's been rainy. Rainy as fuck. What's all the words on the wall? They're my words. Dude, where have you been? Where have you been, bro? I've seen you follow my stuff before. You know what's on the wall. Sheesh. You're not a newbie, or are you? I've seen you on my podcast before. You're not new. Get with the program. What's on my wall? Fucking words. What's the words on my wall? Fucking words. You answered your own question, biznatch. All right, I'm getting a little bit excited. Getting a little excited. A lot of caffeine. I had a little bit extra caffeine today, so I made another pot of coffee. So you are just reaping the benefits and the rewards of that. Double cast. I'm bored as shit at work, so I'm just messing around. What up? Oh, you're on both deep. You're on both. You're on both podcasts. Welcome everyone to the Quadcast, twitch.tv/Swolenormous. Those of you that are joining on Twitch, welcome. Those of you that are watching on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and of course, SoundCloud and Apple Podcast for the audio raping every fucking day. Today is NUT-rition. I'm going to bust a NUT-rition all over your faces. Going to go over three things, three major tips that you can use this weekend because it's Friday. What up, Swole Dog? These silly beaches, those silly beaches. Gains aren't for kids, or gains are for kids. That's the tricks. Silly rabbit tricks are for kids. Silly beaches. Gains are for beards or for adults. I don't know. That went off the rails. I thought I had something there and I didn't. What's up? Ribs are feeling great. Nice, Mike. Good for you. Glad to have you back. You tell him, bro. Thanks, Carlo. I will. Enough of this rain, doing yoga and stretching home. Freaking raining here in Southwest Florida. It is raining everywhere in Florida. Florida is a small state. If it's raining somewhere, it's raining everywhere. It's raining everywhere in Florida. It's been raining everywhere for like a fucking month and it sucks dick. Let's see. So on Instagram today and on Facebook, I dropped the Romanian deadlift. I dropped a little overlay video. So if you haven't checked it out, go fucking check that out. It's on my Instagram feed and it's also on my Facebook page, but that's also a YouTube video. So we were talking about balance yesterday. Today, we're going to talk about nutrition. I'll take some questions, but nutrition based. If you have not yet checked out that video, go check it out. Go check out the single leg deadlift video, Romanian deadlift. And like I said in the video, I did have a couple people say, I'm from Romania. Well, I've never been to Romania, but these Romanians really know their glute action. I bet you all Romanians have just like amazing glutes. They must, because they have all these amazing glute exercises. You know, you have like Bulgarian or Bulgaria, you have Bulgarian split squats, like all these Eastern European countries just making gains for so many years that just have exercises named after them. Just named after them, named after their country. Like we made these exercises. You will do them and call them by our country's name. Okay. You don't have like American deadlifts. It's just Romanian deadlifts. You don't have American deadlifts. We have American kettlebell stuff, but that over the head shit is just fucking stupid. CrossFitters. CrossFitters. You and your American kettlebell crap. You and your shitty form. You and your shitty form. Do they just call it a deadlift? That's a good question. That's a good question. If you're from Romania, do you just call it a deadlift? You know, if you're in Romania, is it just deadlifts? How do you know if you're doing a Romanian deadlift or a regular deadlift in Romania? What are you doing today? Our deadlifts, our country's deadlifts. What do you say when you're in Romania? Flex and show them abs. No, I'll flex my arms. I'm not gonna stand up and show my abs. This isn't a fucking peepo. You're not paying me by the hour or by the minute. Let's see. I tried the single leg RDL this morning. The balancing part was harder than I thought it would be. Hell yeah. The balancing is everything. So remember, fam, if you do that exercise, make sure you go for the balance first. If you're do not add weight. And I got a great question yesterday about that. Someone was asking me, does the weight help the balance? And it does. It will, because anytime you're having a balance exercise, that's pretty much the fundamental concept of balance is weight, right? You're balancing out the resistance on both sides. But it should not be used for balance. If you need a weight to balance, you're not ready for the weight. You should be able to do it without the weight. You should be able to do it without the weight. If you can't do it without the weight, then you should not be doing it with the weight. And that's straight fact. So do not grab a 5 or a 10, even if it helps you balance more. It will help you balance more, but that's not the point of the exercise. So if you need weight to balance, you're not ready yet. You got to practice more. You haven't upgraded. You still a beach and you have to practice. Native deadlifts, Native American deadlifts. Well, I'm not gonna go down that road because the irony and the joke there is too easy and unfortunate. Daniel Tynes, I'm about to go to the gym. Leg day, definitely gonna do those exercises. That's fire. Yeah. So if you go on YouTube, for example, you have the superset. So Daniel, you'd definitely probably, if you haven't seen that yet, you probably have. Check out that superset, the sumo squats with the RDLs, the single leg. That's really fire. Uh, any tips nutrition wise from getting from 13% body fat to 10? No, not really. Not really. Chances are you're not as low as you think you are. I don't know if you've done a DEXA scan, because if you haven't and you're just going by those handheld or the calipers, you're wasting your time. So first off, you're going after a number, which doesn't really make much sense to me unless you're like, why do you want to get to 10%? What if it was actually true? What if you could, we'll start there with the nutrition talk. Like, what does it matter to you? What does it matter to you that you get to 10%? Why is that important? I think that's a serious conversation, because if it's just about getting to that number, because yes, if you're playing golf, you want the number to be as low as possible. You're doing better. If you're playing basketball, right? If you have like the NBA finals, right? If you score more points, you win. But body fat percentage isn't like that. If you're less body fat percentage, it doesn't mean you're healthier. If you're less body fat percentage, it doesn't mean that you look leaner. I know what you're gonna say. Well, yeah, it does. It depends on where the fucking fat is stored. Some people have more fat stores in different areas of their body, just because you could have someone that's lower body fat percentage than you, but your abs are more visible. And most people want to be a lower body fat percentage because they associate lower body fat with seeing abs. And that's not really the case. That's not always the case. Yes, overall body fat percentage, of course, if you have less body fat, period, you're going to have less of it available to cover the abs, but it's not necessarily less body fat percentage, more abs. All right. You still have to have the abdominal muscles developed. You still have to have lower body fat in that area. Certain hormones have to be regulated. Cortisol, that's also an issue. So, sleep, hydration. So, we're going to get into a couple tips, but think about what's mental? What's mental? It's a mental game. Yeah. But 13 to 10, you're chasing a number. You're not going to be able to maintain 10. How satisfied are you going to be when you get to 10? What's the difference between 13 and 10 that's going to make you happy? Because once you get to 10, you're going to go back up to 11. You're going to get depressed because you lost 10. No one's walking down the street saying, hey, that dude's 10% body fat. Look at him. Look at him. I would focus on building muscle. Just keep eating, keep doing what you're doing. If you've already gotten down to 13, unless if you're not competing, who gives a shit if you get to 10? You can focus on looking better and focus on your aesthetics and focus on overall muscular development and triggering and trimming certain inflammatory foods. Numbers can help people reach goals, but it's also because it also becomes um, they can become disillusioned. or delusional. You know, numbers, chasing numbers, it seems like success because you're programmed to follow numbers in school, right? You're not taught how to learn, you're taught what to learn in school. You're not taught how to educate yourself. You said, learn this, study this, spit this back out on a test, answer these multiple choice questions, pick the one that's correct. You know, you can get 100 on a fucking multiple choice test and literally guess, or you could study your ass off and get them correctly and know the answers. So that's why school and education is a crock of shit. Multiple choice is a fucking joke. You can guess and get the answer right, then how do you know what you're talking about? And most of these personal training exams and shit are multiple choice. Why? Because they're done in testing centers, because they're done with thousands of people, and you can't fucking read essays for thousands of people. We have artificial intelligence reading half of these essays for the GRE and for the MCATs and stuff. I mean, I know there's a lot of people looking at it, but I guarantee you it's a lot more automated than you think. You'd like to think that there are human beings reading every single line you wrote, all the things you studied so hard for. Get the fuck out of here. They skip half that shit. Give me a break. Give me a break. They're reading every fucking thing. They read a sentence. They read the opening sentence, and like, all right, this person knows what they're talking about. They put you in a hat and they fucking pull a name out of a hat. All right, you got this score. You got this score. Give them a 650. Give them a 720. I'm sure there's some shady shit going on there. I'm just joking around, but not really. I mean, anytime there's a lot of quantity, you got to question the quality, right? So that being said, let's go back to the numbers. So we're taught numbers, right? We associate a bigger number with better, or in this case, body fat percentage, a lower number is better. I don't think that's really the case just because I've seen people that said they're 15% or with 10%, and you look the same. It depends on what you're storing the fat. It depends on how much muscle mass you have. It depends on your overall body mass. It depends on your composition, your physique. Some people are top heavy or bottom heavy, or, so the number can be a little bit deceiving, just letting you know. I'm not saying a 10% person looks the same as 20, but when you're cutting and looking at 5% difference, you might not notice it from one person to the next. I know, right, Heather? I know. Whoever asked me that question, right? Travis, I know. If you're talking about getting from 13 to 10, it sounds like you're on track. Like, what are you already doing? I do have tips for you. I mean, I could give you advice and give you suggestions, but I don't know what you're doing. Any tips? That's very vague. I'll give you the same tips I'll give from someone that wants to go from 30 to 25, the same that I'll give from 13 to 10 if I don't know any context. Like, I don't know what you're already eating. I could probably tell you, hey, cut this out or cut down on this, try this, try things. But if you give me some context in the comments, I can help you out with that maybe. Steve Heffelfinger, like the best name on online today. Steve Heffelfinger. Loose skin tightens with time and exercise. That's not going to happen overnight. Keep going. It can. Loose skin usually needs the old knife or the scissors to cut, cut, cut. A point. It depends on how stretched out it is. So that depends. What I'm noticing now, or I don't know where they're coming from. I'm getting the Florida sweet ants, the little tiny ants. I had some. I'm gonna have to put out some tasty poison for them because I just killed a bunch of them. I just wiped up like the table. I just cleaned the table, and they're like coming back. I don't know where they're coming from. There's nothing left to eat, dudes. Where are you coming from? So I'm gonna have to put out some treats here so they eat it and take it back to their mother and kill them all. No more eating. No more eating in the office. That's for sure. All right. You got it, Travis. Lost 6 with that, Travis. I'm happy to answer. I lost 7 pounds last week after stopping in Walmart's toilets after a long day trucking. That was a hell of a 7 pound shit. That's epic, man. That's epic. You nail my name on the money. I love it, dude. Your name rocks, Heffelfinger. I love it. Steve H in the house. What's up, fam? Just stopping by to say hello. Hello, Tobias. Daniel Tynes. I wanted to stuff on Swolenormous X. Oh, those of you, before we get to the major tips today, those of you that are members of Swolenormous X, I dropped a couple brand new instructional training videos. You have a hanging leg raise I went over. I also did a weighted hip bridge. So there's a few exercise demos that are brand new on swolenormousx.com. So just go to the updates tab and I posted them up in the log, in the update log. So those of you that are Swolenormous X members, you can check that out. Everyone else that's interested in hooking into the private community, swolenormousx.com to check that out. Let's see. TJ Collins on Twitch. I lost a few pounds when I passed a massive ass kidney stone. All right. So we have truckers taking huge dukes and massive kidney stones on Twitch. Twitch is the fitness paradise. Apparently all the actions happening on Twitch, all the weird shit. So we got Twitch people losing pounds with stones. We got huge Walmart dukes. We got some good action going on. John Rackham just killed back and buys. Good man. Good man. Let's see, 150 yourself. Wow. That's a lot of weight loss, bro. 150 pounds. How long did it take you to lose that, Travis? My goal is trying to get them abs, but I guess it's snip, snip. Well, if you're talking about loose skin, it could be snip, snip. I can't tell you one way or the other. You have to go get like a consultation. I'm not going to sit here and say you need it. I'm not going to sit here and say that you should get it. It's just, okay, you have an option. It's either it'll tighten back up or it'll recoil a little bit, or you might build some muscle underneath it to make it tighter. But if it's like extra, like skin, it might need to, that's what it might take. I don't know what the technology is. They have lasers and shit like that now too for the elastin, for the parts of the skin, the proteins and stuff that get stretched out that can't regrow over the gaps and stuff like that. I'm not a skin expert, but that's why you go to someone who is. But there's a lot of clinics and things like that. You can get it checked out. You just need a professional medical opinion on that. But it's very common. It's very common for people that lose a lot of extra weight. But if you have that shape underneath it, then when they do that, that's the big thing that I find. You get a lot of people that go for the snip snip. Get a lot of people that go for the liposuction, suck out the fat. Just take it off of my body. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, you're taking it off the body, but you're not changing how it fucking gets on the body to begin with. So you get a lot of people that get, the gastric bypass, or they get a liposuction. They get all these things done to them to either take the fat off their body or make them psychologically, or make it harder for them to eat. It doesn't change their shopping habits. It doesn't change their actual eating habits. It doesn't change the chemical composition of their brain. And they're still craving these foods. And a lot of times they gain the weight right back. You're not teaching better habits. You're not starting it from the right place. You're just taking it away. You're not changing how it fucking comes in. A little less than a year, you lost 150 pounds in less than a year. That's why you have extra skin, bro. That's a lot of weight loss. How much do you really need to train abs? That depends. You could do it a few times a week. You don't need to train. I mean, abs are a muscle, but you're doing a lot of core work and stuff when you're doing free weights anyway. But if you're talking about reverse crunches and proper rectus abdominis training, I mean, you could do a little bit every day. You can do it every couple days. I wouldn't do it once a week, for example. I think it's better to do it more a little bit every day just for tone, in the sense of, to keep the muscle tone, not like to tone the body, not that bullshit way of, I want to see more definition. That's building muscle and losing fat, but to keep the muscles activated, that kind of muscle tone, like tetanus, to keep them firing. Oh, I burped. I had to. Podcast, you're welcome. That was a little bit of extra pepper on your sausage right there. Cocoa butter, like the pregos use, that helps for stretch marks, while you're trying to prevent them. It's not it's not foolproof. Okay, so let's get into my major tips, and we'll continue this conversation. That was good about weight loss and nutrition, so no worries there. We'll just jump right into the meat, the main portion of these 3 tips I wanted to cover today. And number 1 is, because today is Friday. Because today is Friday, you are probably on your way out. You're not training. You're being a pussy. You are making excuses. You don't want to train. You have to go pick up the kids. You have to go to soccer practice or whatever. Or someone's having a birthday. Someone's having a dinner. Lots and lots of excuses on a Friday. The gym closes at a different time. You have all the options and all the reasons why you shouldn't work out or why you don't have to work out or why you can take the day off. Now, I am here to give you a couple key things to think about because today and Saturday and Sunday are more days of the week. So this is going to be about half of the week. Your Friday through Sunday is 3 days. So we'll count Friday as a weekend because most people psychologically do. And we'll count Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as your weekend. So that's 3 days out of 7. That's essentially 50% of your week. So when you don't get results and you're not going 100% hardcore, I'm not talking about, oh, well, I should still do something. It's the weekend. I'm talking about treating your weekend as fucking doing work as hard as you would on a Tuesday, on a Monday with your fitness. You're eating the same way. You are training the same way. Nothing changes. If you're doing active recovery, fine, but you're doing your fitness shit the same on Saturday and Sunday and on Friday as you did on Monday and Tuesday. Nothing fucking changes because it's almost half your week. You're not going to get results by taking 1 or 2 days off every fucking week. And you're certainly not going to get results by taking 3 days off or slacking 3 days off. That means about 50% of the time you're being a half-assed jabroni. And you're not going to get results by being a half-assed jabroni. That's just straight facts. So, some things that you can think about. Number one, overall, forget the 3 tips. Number one, nothing changes. Number two, repair equals growth. If you're focusing on active recovery, you're focusing on growth, you're going to be making progress. So, number one and two, nothing changes. Repair equals growth. So, let's get into the top 3 tips. I'm just going to say them right off the bat. Get rid of grains, avoid the dairy, and hydrate. Now, you can pick a bunch of different things. I could say beans, I could say legumes, I can say, okay, stay away from soda, stay away from fruit juice. I'm just giving you 3 things. 3 things. I'm not even saying alcohol. Okay. Now, if you don't know why you should be avoiding alcohol, if you're not aware that you should be cutting down on the extra liquid calories you're consuming, you really need to start from scratch. Go back and listen to some of these podcasts and catch up. It's very obvious that you need to cut back on your liquid calories. Now, alcohol in itself isn't like, oh, you shouldn't drink, you shouldn't be inebriated, you shouldn't have any fun, but it's liquid calories. If you're sucking down 2, 3, 400, 500 or more extra calories and sugar, spiking insulin, not to mention it affects your recovery, it affects your sleep quality, it affects your hydration. So, alcohol is a multi pronged detriment to your fitness. Once you have everything under control and you have your nutrition and everything unlocked and you're seeing progress and you're doing great, sure, you can have a drink once in a while, but you have to gauge and see how it affects you. You can't just go into your training and go into and start your journey by boozing all the time. You're not creating the right habits. That's just making an excuse. If you're trying to work out, anyone that says I work out so I can eat, well, you're living to be stupid. You're living to be a fucking idiot. I work out so I can eat. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. It's not calories in versus calories out. That's not how fitness works. That's not how fitness works. TJ Collins on Twitch. So does sugar intake act poorly on gains? It sure can. Now, when you say sugar, carbs are sugar. Whether you're eating a sweet potato or you're having candy, you're still getting glucose after a while. Your body breaks it down. It's the speed in which it breaks it down. It's the micronutrients that the candy and the sugar, the plain sugar is lacking. It's the fiber that it's lacking. So you're not getting any other nutrients, but just pure unadulterated sugar. And you're just spiking insulin and telling your body that it has all this energy. Your body has nowhere to fucking put it, ends up storing it as body fat, ends up, sending these stress hormones around the body and all this fucking shit. I'm not going to get into the whole detail. It's not important. The fact of the matter is it's not good. We know that. We know this. So in terms of getting rid of some basic inflammatory foods, some of you are still consuming tons of dairy, whether it's cheese, whether it's coffee, creamer, any kind of dairy fucking cut out. I don't care if it's yogurt. I don't care if you have not yet gone through a period where you're literally destroyed dairy, like fucking gotten rid of it. You haven't even started yet. You haven't even started your journey. You're at the beginning. You have so much more progress to see. I guarantee it. You need to take this kind of stuff seriously. When I talk about the elimination, I am not just talking for my health. I'm talking for your health, but I'm giving you quality information. It's just you having to actually do it. If you want a cookie cutter approach, this is not for you. This is the real work. Papa Swolio, Swolenormous X, this community, this is actual work. We do the life We do the fitness, we do the things here. This is not cookie cutter. Eat these things. You know, this is your meal plan. Have 6 ounces of this, have 2 cups of that. That's not how life works. That's not how real nutrition works. That's not how real health works. That's how someone that wants to sell you some fucking PDF file, follow the bouncing ball, and it doesn't teach you anything. You don't learn anything about your body. You're at the whim and at the mercy of whatever's on that piece of paper, and you're restricted. You're not learning how to adjust in life. You're not learning how to hunt in nature, so to speak. You're not learning how to make the proper decisions. And this weekend, one of the things that you're going to be, I guess, subjected to is chances are a lot of dairy. You know, maybe it's ice cream, desserts, things of that nature, and also things like grains, pizza, pasta, breads. These are easy finger foods. These are easy things and cheap for people to create, for people to offer. These are the common appetizers, the common finger foods at bars. This is what people put out because they're fucking cheap. They're cheap and they're satisfying instantly. So these are popular. Why do you think chips are on the table? Why do you think you have crackers and all these different, you know, bread and grain oriented snacks? Because it's easy and it's cheap and you can pick it up with your fingers. It's not like just loose pieces of meat, right? Ross Schartzer, I lost 20 pounds in 4 weeks cutting only dairy. 20 pounds in a month. That's a lot. That's abnormal, but that's a lot. 5 pounds a week just by cutting out dairy. I mean, if you hear something like that, and that's just a comment that popped up on Facebook, and if that doesn't intrigue you to follow suit, I don't know what will. So anyone that's asking about, let's say I'm trying to lose 13 to 10% body fat, I'm trying to lose a couple more pounds, I'm trying to see a little bit more progress. What should I do? Where should I start? There it is. Cut out dairy. Oh, but I put dairy in so many things. I have dairy all the time. Then don't fucking cut out dairy. What do you want from me? I get so many questions. I get so many vague questions, right? I get so many people asking, and I'm not for handouts. I'm fine answering as many questions as possible. And those of you that have been messaging me like crazy on Facebook, I'm trying to get to all of them. And I don't think that Facebook is showing me all my messages because sometimes I feel like I'm not seeing them all. So if I miss your message, just feel free to message me again. I get hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, every day on Facebook and all my platforms. So I try to get to as many as I can. Um, so if you message me and you haven't heard back, sometimes, for example, if you're on the Daily Swole Club and you've gotten an automatic message from like the daily from one of those Daily Swole Club messages, I might not see the previous message that you sent because it gets pushed up in the conversation. When I get hundreds in my in my inbox, I might not see that. So you might have to just copy and paste and send me another message or try going over to my website and send me a message there. Anyway, I get a lot of questions about losing weight. I mean, who doesn't want to get leaner? That's pretty much the thing with fitness. However, you know, are you doing the basics to make that even fucking happen? If you're still consuming dairy and you've been on Google for more than 5 fucking minutes, you're out of your mind. Out of your mind if you're still consuming dairy and struggling to lose weight. Fucking get rid of it. You do not need it. You do not need it. Michael Pesta, I know dairy and gluten kills me. It does for most people, whether you have celiacs or not. It causes bloating, water retention. Yeah, you retain water from carbohydrates. That's why when people go on ketosis or they go on super high fat, low carb, they lose a lot of weight quickly because when you flush out carbs or you get rid of carbs, you flush out water. Also, another reason why people get dehydrated and also gain weight back because they gain the water back when they start implementing carbs, or they're eating grains when they come back. So they get the added inflammation and they retain more water. There are ways to go through your nutrition properly. And you don't have to avoid carbs. You have to eat the right ones. You don't have to avoid any type of carbohydrate, you know, or sugar. You just have to consume the right ones. And you need to exercise. Anytime you are focusing on your nutrition more than your exercise, you're missing a piece of the puzzle. I do not believe in that 80-20 bullshit. 80% nutrition, that's a fucking bullshit, stupid phrase. It's fucking stupid. I hate these fucking phrases that people say and get locked into as if there's any logic behind it or science. There's none. There's none that says 80% nutrition, 20% exercise. That's just made up. It's completely you could say 90, you could say 50, you could say any number, you know? Swap any number in there, it means the same thing. Said it sometime, and it just became a phrase. It became a phrase. It doesn't mean a damn thing. But it does mean that nutrition's important. It is absolutely important, but it's just as important as exercise. You need to be mobile. You can't be sitting in a chair and eating healthy your whole life and have wonderful health. Nutrition helps. That's your fuel. But what you do with your body also matters. Just because you're putting brand new quality fuel every day in a car, if you're not driving the car, it's just sitting there, you're just filling up the tank. And then you're filling up the tank again and it's not going anywhere. Everything else is going to rust and seize up because you're not using the car. You're not driving it. The tires are going to get flat. They're going to get bulges because the pressure on the tires in one spot. You're not moving. You're not using the car for what it's designed for. Been listening to the podcast. Now I finally caught you live. What up? I ate a ton of dairy and got down to 6%. How'd you test that 6%? I doubt it. Everyone throws around these numbers with body fat percentage. Do you have any idea how low 6% is? If you didn't do a DEXA scan, I don't believe 6%. Understand, people, the only way to accurately measure your body fat is with a DEXA scan or a high quality underwater weighing protocol. Doing those in body, standing on it, or doing a handheld or doing calipers, it's using cow bones to use calipers. I'm just joking. Yeah, 7 point. And pinching isn't really, once you get down to a certain percentage, pinching is not accurate. I don't know if that was told to you, whoever did that. Those become increasingly less accurate as you get leaner and leaner. Same thing with the handheld. Those are shitty anyway. But if you compete, if you don't compete, I mean, 6%, that's bodybuilder, that's professional bodybuilder, Olympia stage. They get down to that low. That's how low those guys get. And they get there full with anabolics and things like that. So naturally, that's usually an exaggeration. I've had people claim 6 or 10% and all this stuff. You do an actual test, they're like 13, 15. It's like, yeah, it's super fucking lean. It's super lean. It's a lot more lean than people realize. No one's getting 2 or 3% body fat, maybe here and there with no water, but that's extremely unhealthy. And only the elite bodybuilders, when they're taking tons of juice and sauce, get that low. What's up, David? Lori Johnson, I started the elimination diet 3 weeks ago and I have lost 6 pounds. I know a large part of that was due to dairy. I feel so much better. Awesome. Awesome. You would be dead under 5%. I don't know if you'd be dead. I don't know if you'd be dead, but that's really dangerous levels. I'm not saying you're on juice. I'm just saying that 6% is much more unlikely than you might realize. And based on your test method, I'm skeptical, but I'm not saying you weren't under 10 or you weren't low. But you're gonna be very, very flat and deflated and not pumped at all. That's for damn sure. If you're natural at that body fat percentage, it's unhealthy for the body. The public, but the public wouldn't. Is dramatically undereducated on body fat percentage. Everyone thinks that 10%. That's no joke. That's competition. 10% is fucking shredded. Shredded. All right. So chasing numbers is really a losing battle. That's not the goal. That's not the goal. You don't get a medal when you get to 10%. You don't get a medal when you get to 15%. I agree. Your body needs much more body fat to be healthy. And that's the other thing. When we talk about health and fitness, we have this category that has a name that's very ironic because most of those things like getting to 5%, 6%, under 10% is not healthy. That's not considered healthy in terms of fitness. It's not considered, it looks a certain way, but it's not health. And that's the kind of weird thing about the industry, right? That's the weird thing about the industry. When you talk about health and fitness, it's not correlated. You do if that's what your personal goals are. You're spewing nonsense right now. I'm not, why am I spewing nonsense? Don't come at me with that, bro. You're not going to win this one. I'm not spewing nonsense. If that's your personal goal, I'm just saying, why is that your personal goal? I'm not spewing nonsense. I'm being 100% truthful and objective. Why is that an important goal? My point is a lot of people look for a number, and this goes right back to losing body weight. So we'll go back to Facebook and YouTube. If you're trying to get to a goal weight, if you're trying to go from 200 to 190, okay, why? You need to know why you're doing it. And if there's a really good reason, because it's not going to give you the satisfaction that you anticipate. Yeah, it's being a number chaser. You can have whatever goal you want. I don't care if your goal at the end of your life, you want to paint a mural on a wall. I don't give a shit. That's the same arbitrary. You want to complete this mural that you started when you were 15 years old. It's on the outside of your house. You want to paint this whole side of your house. That's great. Do it. I don't care what your goal is. I want to raise the question, and you get much more introspective when you start meditating, you start actually looking at why you're doing things. And this is the kind of stuff that most people don't get into when they're younger in their years. You start reflecting when it's, I don't want to say it's too late, but when you get to the point where you can't really change as much as you can now. When you're lifting heavy for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, you get to a point where you start having bad back and bad knees and injuries that come as a result of those decisions because you didn't have the forward thinking. Hindsight's 2020. It's easy to look back. It's easy to look back and wish you made different decisions, but you can't go back and not squat 500 pounds and blow your knee out. When it comes to nutrition and chasing numbers and trying to endlessly get to a certain digit, what is the payoff for you? Satisfaction? You got to 6%, you got to 10%, you lost 50 pounds. Now what? I want to lose 20 pounds before I go on a cruise in August. Why? You're not going to, I mean, to look better, you're not going to look better by losing 20 pounds. How's that going to make you look better? You think you're going to look better. You think you're going to feel better. You're going to fit into your bikini. I mean, fit into your bikini, you're still not going to look great. Let's be honest. I mean, is weight loss, does that equal beauty? Does that equal satisfaction? You're gonna fit in your bikini and then binge eat and drink and just gain it all back? Like, what's your real goal for training? I don't like the quick shreds. I don't like the number chasing. I think that's the fundamental broken foundation. I know that was a little bit redundant, but that's the broken foundation with health and fitness. That's a fundamental error, and that's based on the education system that we are trained to follow numbers. We're trained to have a correct answer. We're trained to have this digit is the answer. 5% body fat, 10% body fat. Fuck it, 50% body fat. A bigger number is better. I want to bench more. 200. What's better than 200? 205, 210, 250, 300. Well, I can do 4. Well, I want to do 450. Okay. All the guys are measuring dicks in the gym. Can you squat more? How much you bench? How much you squat? Oh, you only squat 225. Shut the fuck up, tool bog. Tool bog, tool bag. What's a tool bog? I like it. I'm taking it. There are, and there's no end point. There's no end point. It's your vision, bro, Chacho. And that's not being sarcastic on any other platform. His screen name on Instagram is literally bro Chacho, which I love, by the way. Why would you start working out if you don't have a goal in mind? Goal is different than vision, and a goal should not be based on numbers, in my expert opinion. You can have it be part of it, but it's just a limited return emotionally, satisfaction, because there's always another number. There's always a bigger number. There's always a smaller number. And then it becomes, well, why do you want to be that lean? What's the end game? What's the long-term success? What are you doing from that? If your goal is to be that lean or be leaner because you're doing a photo shoot or I'm not saying don't have goals. Goals and vision are a little bit different. I'm coming at this from a long-term approach. I'm trying to shift everyone from looking for, okay, What can I get in 3 months? Because, dude, you can drop a few percent body fat. Let's say by September, you drop a few percent body fat. That's fine. It's fine to have that be a goal, but not a checkered flag, right? The life is a checkered flag. The life is the long term. So you can have goals, but your vision, it needs to be part of it. It needs to be part of the system. But there's so much number chasing. It doesn't mean, I mean, there's a lot of people that can have the right mindset and use numbers as checkpoints, but I need to drop the hammer and really close the gate on this idea that numbers are satisfying because they're not. And I've seen this. I've seen this with so many clients and members, everyone chasing a certain weight loss. Everyone wants to lose 50 pounds, 100 pounds. They're just round numbers that sound nice, 20 pounds. And they're very arbitrary, right? Weight loss is very arbitrary. When you pick a number, it's very arbitrary. It's like, okay, this is the number I'm going to lose. Well, it depends when you're building muscle and you're training and how tall you are and what that actual number will end up being. But it can be a source or a place where it can be measuring doesn't always reflect your progress because water weight can get in the way because proper measurement techniques aren't available. DXA scans aren't cheap. It might be $100, but you have to have access to it. If you live in the countryside, you might be not be near a city or university that has. I think I mentioned the 3 tips earlier. Grains and dairy. We were talking about eliminating dairy, eliminating grains. Simple. I'm not talking about alcohol. I'm talking about some basic things. I mean, alcohol, grains, I mean, where do you think it comes from? And hydration. So this weekend, and if you're getting into the elimination diet and you're starting to cut this shit out, dairy, grains, and drink extra water. Hydrate. If you are hydrating, you're going to consume less calories. If you're hydrating, you're going to feel less hungry. If you're hydrating, you're going to give your body the most important nutrient that it can consume. And it's not macronutrients, it's not carbs, protein, or fat. The most important thing that you can consume is water. You can only survive a couple days without water. You can survive a couple weeks without food, potentially. Everyone's different. But water is by far the most important thing that you can consume to stay alive. So make sure you're drinking enough water. A lot of you aren't drinking enough water on the weekends. And why are the viewing is got I don't know, live on Instagram, live broadcasting, it's hit or miss. I don't know. Because I go live and it doesn't matter if I have, I got 100 plus thousand people on Facebook following and several thousand on YouTube and 20, 30,000 on whatever Instagram, but live broadcast, they still have to notify people. The notifications aren't controlled by me. So I can't control who gets notified. I guarantee a fraction of the people that follow me get a live notification on Instagram, a fraction. Same thing with Facebook. 100,000 notifications aren't sent out when I go live. Get the fuck out of here. No way in hell. So people don't see it. So that's why you have to turn your notifications on manually. You have to prioritize my notifications. That way you'll get notified when I do go live. Um, so when it comes to drinking more water, one of the reasons why you're not drinking enough water on the weekends and why I wanted to talk about hydration today is your schedule changes. Float some hearts, float some biceps if your schedule is different on the weekend, which means maybe you don't work Saturday and Sunday. Most people don't. Let's say you have a 9 to 5 during the week. Your schedule is thus different on the weekends. You might not have to get up as early. You might sleep in a little bit. Your routine changes. So if you're waking up at 9 or 10 instead of 6 a.m., you're getting 3 hours less of hydrating. You're not drinking your bottle of water first thing in the morning. You might not be working out first thing in the morning, maybe on Saturdays. You take your kid to a soccer game in the morning and you work out in the later in the afternoon. You're not drinking. Your schedule and what you do during the day is going to be different. And I understand it. In many cases, it's going to be different. but is it affecting your hydration? Is it affecting your training? Is it affecting your routine? And as I mentioned before, Fridays, if we're considering Friday as part of the weekend, you're doing Friday through Sunday, that's 3 days. That's almost 50% of your week where you are not keeping to your quote schedule. And if that's almost 50% of your week, you can't really even call Monday through Thursday part of your schedule because half the schedule isn't really even a schedule because you're off. So make sure that you lock down your hydration, you lock down your schedule on the weekend and try to keep it as consistent as possible. So whether or not you've already gotten rid of grains and dairy, I challenge you all the same when you're listening to this podcast today or tomorrow to keep your weekend as consistently and as similar to your week as possible. And I guarantee if you create more consistency on your weekend and make it more similar to what you do during the week, you will get more results because your body craves pattern. Your body craves regularity. Your body craves to adapt. It just needs the consistency so it can adapt. And that has to do with weight loss. That has to do with muscle building, with weight training, with mobility, with anything. Instagram. Papa Swole needs to be heard globally. Change this world for the better. I hope so. I hope so. Good discussions, good conversation today. Good stuff about the body fat percentage, about weight loss, about skin, about nutrition. Good stuff. Good stuff. Everything's welcome. Everything's welcome. I'm not hating on anything that's come through. I encourage all of you. I think being a low body fat percentage is great. It's great to have a goal. It's great to have something you strive for. Just make sure you're doing everything for the right reasons. No worries. Do you think most people carry around a gallon? Do you think most people do I think most people should carry a gallon of water around? I don't know about I don't know if you have to carry a gallon around. I used to be that dude. I don't do that anymore. I mean, you're not in the desert starving. Just drink plenty of water. Just drink it throughout the day. Don't like not drink all day and then pound a gallon right before bed. Like make sure you're getting it throughout the day. Constant tension on those pipes. Let's see here. Half the gym bronies don't know. Half the gym bro people don't know about Papa Swole. I can't force them. Just keep on doing what I'm doing. Everyone that needs to be here is here. They'll find their way home. They'll find their way home. We'll make it. We'll make it happen. We'll make it work. I keep a water bottle at home like I do at work to make myself keep up my water on the weekends. That's good shit. That's good shit. Make sure you look, I have it right here. I've actually been drinking way too much coffee today. So I need to up my game on this. I feel a little bit dehydrated and plus coffee is a diuretic. So just because it's liquid, it's not hydrating. So it's going to make me pee. And I got to kill these freaking ants. Where are they coming from? I got rid of the watermelon. I think as I ate watermelon here yesterday, the day before, and I dropped like a drop, I guess. And I picked it up and there was, I guess, like a little sticky spot. And today I come in here and just fucking like 30 ants all just eating it. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. There are water intake apps. Not sure you would, oh, I don't know. Intake apps. You need your phone to remind you. Just drink more water. If you need your phone to remind you to drink more water, I don't know. That's a little bit weak. You don't need an intake app. Just drink more water. You could drink you know what you can also do is take a bottle like this, stainless steel, for example. You put a piece of like a white piece of duct tape, masking tape, and just like once you drink one, you put like a hash mark on it with like a permanent marker. Mark it. That way you know how many you drank throughout the day and then just rip it off. You could do that. Different ways to do it. If you need an app, I mean, yeah, there are tons of apps and tracking apps. You can do that. I don't feel like that's not for me personally, but I'm sure there's good stuff. I'm sure there's stuff out there. If that works for you, fine. Bottom line, if you're drinking your water, who cares? If you need an app, then go for it. You don't have to do things the way I do it. And I don't always get as much water in as I would like. So maybe I do need an app. I'm not going to download one, but maybe it'll work for you. And if it does, awesome. And if it doesn't, so sad. Rubber bands. Rubber bands? Rubber band man? Rubber bands for what? What's up, Sensei Swolio? Sensei Swolio. Hi, Sensei Swolio. Ants are so yeah, they are irritating. The little sweet ants, the little fruit ants. Do you think powdered proteins are useful? I don't like them. There's a recent study that showed a lot of heavy metals and impurities in protein powders. I haven't taken protein powders in a long time. Just food. Just food. You don't need to be sucking down. You don't need that much protein. You don't need all the protein that everyone's been barking for years. That just sells a lot of powders. Is it true the more water you intake, the less you hold on to? I'm sure to a point, your body will use what it needs and then you'll piss out the rest. If you don't get enough, if you're not getting enough water, your body will tend to hold more water because it doesn't know that it's getting more. If you give it sufficient amounts, it'll get rid of the extra because it has enough to go around. So if you tend to not drink as much, you'll tend to hold on to more because your body needs a certain amount of water. Your body needs water for the processes, for digestion, for temperature regulation, for everything. So if you're not drinking enough, your body needs to hold on to as much as it can get because it's not absorbing through the skin. If you're not drinking it, your body's not getting water. If you're not getting it from food or getting it from other sources, your body doesn't have water. So you can imagine people that drink a lot of soda and don't drink straight water and eat junky foods, they're getting only the only moisture that they're getting is from the soda and from their food. So people are chronically dehydrated. When the body is chronically dehydrated, it comes out in the form of hunger because your thirst mechanism essentially shuts down because your body keeps clamoring for water and asking for water. And when you don't give it water, your body just kind of gives up asking for water. So it starts asking for food. So you start feeling hungry when you're actually thirsty. So next time you're hungry, drink a huge glass or two of water and then wait about 10, 15 minutes and see how hungry you are. I guarantee it's not as much because chances are you're more thirsty than you are hungry. Or at least when you drink the water, it'll neutralize how hungry you are. And then you'll actually feel as hungry and more accurately as to how hungry you truly are rather than what your body is trying to compensate for the thirst mechanism. What's your view on apple cider vinegar? I use it for leaching the calcium and leaching the nutrients from the bones when I make bone broth. I don't do shots and stuff. Thing for like heartburn, but if you're getting heartburn, you have to wonder why you're having heartburn to begin with rather than taking a shot of apple cider vinegar. I don't like think it like helps you lose body fat. I don't think it's like I don't take a shot a day or some people do. I don't think it's like health benefits like that. It might stunt your hunger, but I'm not sure if there's any like if it's like a healthy method like it's stunting your hunger because it's creating I think maybe just the vinegar makes you like not hungry. I don't know. I've seen mixed things on that. I don't think there's a lot of concrete evidence that it's really something that you should be taking a shot of that's really actually healthfully beneficial. But there's a lot of uses for apple cider vinegar. There's a lot of like household uses. I don't know what that link is on Twitch. I'm not going to click it. All right, I've cut out everything but cheese. That's it. I'm starting today. Yeah, cut out the cheese. Cheese is hardcore dairy. A lot of people cut out cheese and see a lot of progress. I saw some. Where was the other comment? Apple cider vinegar. Something. Oh, we're talking about ants. Someone said rubber bands. We're talking about apple cider vinegar. Yeah, we're talking about water intake. So, and the thirst mechanism. That's right. Vinegar breaks down food better. No, that's not your body. Your stomach has acidity. Your stomach acids break down the food. Your stomach acids break down the food and, it moves the food around. And those enzymes break down the food and break down the bonds that holds the proteins and all those things together. That's why it's important to chew your food so your body has an easier job of, breaking down and literally digesting and destroying the food to the point where it can actually get absorbed, right? Where it can be broken down into molecules and proteins and get absorbed into the small intestines and do the work that's supposed to do. It's all signals and emails and text messages just the way your body does emails and text messages. That's what hormones do. That's what these systems that send messages when your body is getting the right foods and it's getting the right nutrients, it's getting enough water, it's getting the right proteins, it's getting the right carbohydrates, and nothing is gumming up the system, right? Let's say mentally, you're meditating, you're doing yoga, you're lifting weights, I don't know, you're doing your thing, whatever your thing is. You don't have to do things my way. These are just some of the things that you can work on to improve your fitness. And when you're sending or you're providing your body with the right fuel, it can send the right signals. What happens with a lot of these junk foods and these changes of schedule and the artificial things and and just the stresses and all these things that build up in our body and build up in our lives, your body starts sending mixed signals. It starts sending the wrong information. Certain hormones might be elevated in the system, sending the wrong information because you're eating foods that trigger that and you don't realize that it's triggering a negative response. So you keep on eating them. Like, let's say it's dairy, let's say it's grains, let's say it's whatever. And over decades and decades and decades, this leads to chronic disease. And we end up saying, like, oh, this came out of nowhere. Well, it was just kind of like a compounded inflammation over the course of 40 years. It didn't really come out of nowhere. You've been eating grains and dairy for 40 years. Maybe those things are bad for your body from the start. You didn't realize it. I would say 40 years of eating inflammatory foods can have a negative effect, don't you? That's what I'm saying. What's the harm in What's the harm in testing that? What's the harm in looking into it? What's the harm in eliminating a couple foods for 4 or 6 weeks and seeing how you react to them? The only thing you're going to come away with is more information about your body. And that's a win-win. You're going to win when you eliminate foods. One way or the other, you're going to figure out things that you never knew about your body. It's only a win. There is no downside to going through this process. Zero. Zero downside. Check with your doctor. Make sure you're healthy enough to eliminate garbage foods. That's literally what I have to say, right? You're getting rid of highly commonly inflammatory foods. This is not, oh, this is not just mystery science. These are foods that cause a lot of people issue. Will it cause you as much issue as it will the person sitting next to you? Maybe not. Maybe it'll cause you more problems, maybe less. You won't know. You won't know until you try it. Your beard has its own realm. I would love to grow that. How long did it take you? I don't know, year or so. I mean, it's been trimmed several times and needs to be trimmed again. So I wouldn't say it took so long, but I've had it this length and much longer for off and on. But this is it's a little bit longer than the length that it's best at. Once my beard gets longer than this, even when I trim it regularly, it becomes straggly and too long for my face. Like this is maybe a little bit shorter is my best length, like right here. It's just the best length for me. I used to have it a lot longer, and it's kinda like looking at old fat pictures for me. I look back in pictures of, like, when I was really long, I'm like, "Oh, man, I look like fucking Duck Dynasty, really scraggly, too long." So now I try to avoid that if I can, but I also really don't care. The good thing about this, if it gets a little bit long and scraggly, I don't care. It works. It plays, but so if it gets a little bit longer, it's fine, but I try to keep it more trim. I try to be a little bit more cognizant of trimming it. Manscaping. Nice beard. Thanks, Kami. Cami. Cami. Cami looks sweet. Yeah, it's soft though. It's soft. The pics of you without the beard look weird. Yeah, those were old, right? 5 years ago. Another time, another life. But yeah, I've always had but even then, I wouldn't say it's without. I had scruff. Like I had facial hair for a long time, and I just let it grow. Like fuck it, I'm done. I'm done. Sucks shaving. Fuck that shit. I'm a man. I don't shave anymore. I don't sham. You still sell hoodies? Hell yeah, I still got them. Hey, if you're interested in the shirts and the gear, I'm changing the game, so I'm adding some different stuff. And while it lasts, you can check it out, swolenormousapparel.com. Swolenormous, and then the word apparel.com if you're interested in like shirts and stuff. They're still available. So get them while they last because that is most likely going to get shut down soon and reorganized. So go over there and check it out if you want to grab a hoodie. It's summer. It's summer. Get a tank, get a t-shirt, a hoodie. I guess hoodies are good all year round. I know. Snapbacks. No, I don't have snapbacks. That's what I'm saying. I'll probably organize some other stuff. Oh, Instagram's gonna shut down in a few seconds. I'll turn it back on and then we'll outro this. I'll finish up. So any last second questions? Let me just turn Instagram back on. So any questions in closing? Uh, some updates. Some updates that are coming for today. Just a reminder, those of you that are Swolenormous X members, a couple new instructional videos, brand new ones, and I'm also working on some. I'm always working on stuff, but some additional videos for X this weekend. It never drop, so it's just a matter of which things I want to prioritize first. But those are now available. So Swolenormous X members, you can go into your updates tab and check out the new releases. And remember, everyone else, that's where all my programming, my nutrition, my recipes, all HD video, all streaming to your computer, to your tablet, to your phone. You can take my programs and take all my instructionals, live streaming, full yoga classes, swolenormousx.com. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's still available, special offer, and that is ending. I have to check the date today, but that's ending shortly. So I will be more vocal about that as is going back to regular price. So do not miss that opportunity. Craig Chidoba, for sure. I work in a hospital as a respiratory therapist, and they let us rock the beards now. Nice. Nice. Look at that. America stepping up its game. They let us rock the beards now. Well, it's going to help cure more patients. It's going to help people breathe better. It's going to help people get healthier. Papa Swole, will you be sharing more of the wise sticky notes? Sticky notes on Insta. What's a sticky note? What's a wise sticky note? I don't know what that is. I'd like to provide more of those if you like them. I don't know what a wise sticky note is on YouTube. If you can elaborate on that, I'm curious. I think all of this is like a sticky note, right? Oh, the wall behind you. Oh, you mean a video with you mean a video based on like one of the quotes? Oh, I did post something. I posted a throwback video the other day. Is that what you're referring to? On yeah, well maybe I'll make that part of like the Swole Motion, like the vlog series. But yeah, I'll share some more of those. And those aren't all mine. Those are a lot of quotes from other people. I don't have like the names of who said them on each single card. For a couple, I think I put them on the back, but oh, you liked it? Cool. Yeah, maybe I'll make some more of those for maybe I'll put them as part of the Swole Motion series and stuff like that. Yeah, there will be more of those, all sorts of stuff. I'm doing a lot of training content lately. I'm doing a lot of training content in terms of like, exercise demos. And those of you that are part of the Daily Swole Club on Facebook Messenger, you got the RDL the other day. We'll be dropping something else later today. Surprise, surprise. Not gonna tell you what it is. See what it is. I haven't decided yet, to be honest. I haven't decided what I wanted to drop later, but I will on my wall. Yeah. So I forgot that I posted that video on Instagram. Yeah. Was it Duff's on YouTube? I forgot I posted that video on Instagram. So yeah, I'll make some more of those. I'll make some more of those spotlight videos. I have no shortage of cards, by the way, of great, awesome quotes. Those things are fire. There's some really inspirational stuff. When I do some stretching against the wall, I always look up and I look at the cards, and I usually I don't look at them as much as I need to. Because anytime I stop and I'm stretching and I'm looking at the wall, I'm like, man, that's a great quote. I forgot about that one. Oh, that's an awesome one. That's my favorite one. No, that's my favorite. That's awesome. It's like every day there's a new one that stands out. It's kind of like the Daily Swole, right? Some episodes it'll fucking crush you and it'll hit home. And other ones, yeah, you're there for the entertainment. It's good, but nothing strikes you. I get it. 756 episodes. Not every single one is going to, strike you to your core, but there's every once in a while, there's a video or something that I make that really hits home that at that moment in that day pushes you over the edge. And that's really what has kept me going all this time and why I still put out the same amount of videos and the same amount of content and why I'm still so productive with it all. And anytime I try to hold back or anytime I think about, okay, maybe I shouldn't post this or maybe I should wait, I post it because I'm always thinking, well, what if there's that one person that needs this right now? and I post it later and they miss it. You know, if I post it now, then they'll see it, and then anyone else who's gonna see it will see it later. But if I hold it, maybe that person's gonna miss it. Or maybe the work or the reason why I wanna make that video is gonna be lost. Like, why don't hold content? That's why a lot of times I put out so many videos and it's like, oh shit, he's releasing so much stuff. He's doing a podcast, he did a new video, he's doing this. Because I'm always trying to it's just repetitions. It's just repetitions. You know, Instagram kind of lumps posts together. So I'm not posting all throughout the day as much as I used to, like in the feed, but I'm posting consistently. I'm still there and I'm still doing stuff. I'm still trying things. I'm still providing content. So it's like you never know who's watching and whether or not it's reaching billions of people or thousands of people or 5 people. That's going to be hit or miss. The live show has gotten, I've had thousands of people watching live and the numbers were nuts. And I've had only a few people watching live, and live broadcasts are, it's hit or miss as whether you get a notification, it's whether you're available at the time. It's all up in the air. It's all up in the air. The more I learn, the more I do stuff, sometimes the less I feel like I know. The less I feel like I know. Sometimes I feel, okay, I got a good pulse on things. And then something happens. I'm like, all right, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea what works. What kind of videos do people want? What kind of content do people want? Sometimes I have no idea. Sometimes I feel like I know, and then I'll do something, and then I'm like, all right, I have no fucking idea. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll develop and grow. But that's why I appreciate all your feedback. So when you have great feedback or you have suggestions or things that you like or things that you love, that's why don't just sit back there and give a thumbs up. Drop a comment. Say, oh, I love this video, or I love this style, or this video was fire, or I would love to see more of these. Post it. I read as much as I can. I read as much of those as I can. So the more feedback I get from you, the better I can do to produce awesome content. So that makes a huge difference. So thank you for watching and thank you for that feedback. So anyway, new stuff in Swolenormous X. Check it out. Anyone that's not a member, swolenormousx.com. I will be posting some more stuff for the Daily Swole Club. So you can hit me up on Facebook Messenger at Swolenormous and get on the Daily Swole Club. And I posted a brand new Swole Motion yesterday on YouTube. So go check that out. YouTube at Swolenormous. New stuff everywhere. You got to follow Papa Swolio everywhere. So new stuff all around. And I'm excited. I'm excited. Today's going to be a good day. Today is a good day. Oh, let's get this one more comment just popped up. Jacob Daniel at the buzzer, bro. At the buzzer on Facebook. Appreciate what you're doing, brother. I'm a new listener watcher. I'm a firefighter in Kentucky. Oh, thank you for your service, man. And been working out 6 days a week since college, trying to get the other member of my shift and other shifts more involved with training. I would love to see some 3 day a week routines for functional strength. I would start with yoga, get into yoga, man. I don't post full workout routines, but I have definitely full workouts. And you can check out my training playlist on YouTube. I highly recommend that. Posted a great superset yesterday, full upper body workout. So I do have full workout content and full, commentaries and stuff on my YouTube channel. So check that out, Jacob. I think you'll like it. That'll get your feet wet. And if you're looking for more, give that a look. Oh my goodness. So who here? I know you're trying to get pumped. So today's Friday. You're probably getting home from work, or you're on your way home, or you're kind of on your way out. Make sure to listen to this episode again, but leave with these 3 things. Get rid of grains and dairy this weekend and start upping your hydration game. Stop fucking around, be serious, and take these 3 days as serious as you do every single other day in the week, and you're going to see much more progress. It's half your fucking week. Don't slack. It's half your week. Stop being a jabroni. Get it done. And I'll see you all tomorrow for 757 of the Swole. Oh. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow for 757 on a Saturday of the most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose. Papa Swolio. Out. Later, fam. Love ya. See you tomorrow for 757. Lates, McGates. Peace, peace, peace. Peace and gains be with you.